My name is Aaron Schulenberg, and I'm the Executive Director of the Society of Collision Repair Specialists, and we are here to welcome you to the 2022 SEMA show. Super excited about what we have going on today, and I want to introduce the folks that I have here with me. Scott Van Hooley with iCar, Amber Alley with Barsati's Body and Fender, and Dave Griskus with Reliable. And really today, we want to talk a little bit about what we're looking forward to throughout the week. There's
36 presentations, so 9 presentations a day over 4 days, and it'll be rapid fire. And then each day after the show, the videos will be available on demand for viewing if you can't watch them live. Plus, we have our welding area here where you can actually come and weld on some coupons and kind of go through some of the training we do for that. So we got a lot of people and a lot of things going on here.
So that SEMA electrified area is a brand new section this year. Talk a little bit about what you guys are doing over there.
So one of the things we're highlighting over there is a lot of the work we've done for our 5-day EV course. We have the simulator card over there that's really cool, that simulates a real electric vehicle, all the different parts, but in a safe way. And so there's a lot of information on that, a lot of the other training courses we have. So there's just a ton of stuff where you can kind of get a little bit hands-on and see what some of that training would involve for the technicians that need to take it.
Yeah, perfect. And for anybody right next door here to the booth, we've got a stripped down base of a Lucid. And so I think what's neat about a show like this is you get to see a ton of vehicles and elements that you wouldn't necessarily get to see in that condition out in the real world, and it gives a better understanding of what we're actually working with in collision repair centers and things along those lines. Dave, obviously you guys have a lot of focus on EV in your booth and in what you all do.
Yeah, we have our regular booth for SEMA with the cutting edge tooling, but then we're also in the electrified center. And just walking over to the electrified center, I really had no grasp on how the refit business has become so big that, I personally thought, you have a regular engine car and you're done, you get an electric car. I didn't know that there's a whole industry now of just refitting existing vehicles. I have learned more about the details of the way batteries are going to mount in all these different avenues. And this is truly a show that's it's going to educate a heck of a lot of people on, like, wow, I had no idea so many people have come so far.
Yeah, and you can feel that energy this year, right? Like, I just think from that excitement, from all those new elements, it's pretty cool. Amber, for you as an attendee, as a member of SCRS, what are some of the things you're looking forward to most?
Well, as these gentlemen said, really looking forward to the new technology. I actually brought 8 of my technicians out this year with us. The last few years with COVID, and then last year without a lot of international presence, but with the OEM certification programs we're involved, staying up to date on tooling. We're going to be looking for an alignment rack. So on a personal level, I'm super excited to share this experience with them. And as Aaron said, the energy is amazing this morning. It was coming up the escalator. There's people everywhere, smiling faces. It's just, if you get an opportunity, you really need to join us. So from the show perspective in SCRS, I'm obviously looking forward to a lot of the classes we have to offer, these videos, and Thursday, I'm doing a career fair for new students, which, as my role on the SCRS, I've done a lot for the education, and that's always a fun. I've done that in the past. Last year was smaller, but still there were a lot of participants, so I'm expecting it's probably going to be double, and that's basically tech schools bring students with them and walk through, and there will be iCar booths and SCRS, and these students are just looking for information on industry, what they can get into, what fields they can get into. So it's always exciting to share collision because a lot of them haven't considered that, and so to sit there and talk to these young students that are investing in themselves and their time and energy, I really look forward to that. So that's probably going to be one of the highlights.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's amazing you brought 8 of your technicians. These are people who otherwise would be in the shop being productive, right? Performing repairs. I think it's so important that business owners look at and go, okay, how do I expose my team to this technology and some of the things and the resources that are available to them? Because I think that brings home a renewed excitement for the industry and the work that they do. And Scott, you mentioned the 36 sessions that are taking place here. And we also have the education classes next door. So throughout the week, we've got 21 education courses that are taking place in the hallway next door, plus the OEM Summit on Thursday and the Ideas Collide on Friday. How many classes do you guys have?
Yeah, I know there's a schedule out there, and they're repeating. They're doing several classes per day. I know they have one for welding where they kind of go through some of the theory and things like that, and then people can come down directly to the stage here and actually go through the welding hands-on portion of it at a much discounted rate to kind of get the feel for some different things, because there's no better place to kind of get a little bit of everything than at the SEMA show, because there's so many training opportunities, so many new pieces of equipment, and so many people that you can meet and form a relationship with, professional relationships with, that just pay dividends down the road. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I think what's neat about this show is that so much of the growth we've seen on the show floor was centered around the development of an education program, right? So that was really the impetus for how Collision grew in the SEMA show in 2019. Or in 2010 and continued to grow. I think 2019 was always a benchmark year for so many of us, right, as far as just being successful. I know what we've seen in our pre-registration numbers leading up to today was that this year has already become the best year of education at the SEMA show that we've ever had, surpassing 2019's total numbers. And I think, again, Amber, you remarked about the energy. You can feel that. You can feel the audience. You can feel the people here. You can feel that excitement. Dave, as an exhibitor, what's your favorite piece of this week every year?
It's very exciting when you get people to just come, and you could see them look at some cutting edge technology that is going to make it easier on the technician, or make a technician much more comfortable with whatever tooling they're using. And everything's around education. The more we can educate people in a simpler fashion with higher technology, because we're bringing them up, and with iCar, we're trying to do it where they're very at ease during their learning sessions. And then to open up the SEMA guidebook and see so many classes collision related, you could see that the collision industry is really thirsting for as much knowledge as they could get, and this is the week. And it starts a lot where the guy goes to the booth, looks at a piece of equipment, and hopefully that exhibitor has taken part of SEMA, iCar, or SCRS, and then can say, hey, listen, you really like that. If you were in this training class, you would learn this. And if you are fortunate enough to bring some of your employees, you're going to have employees that are going to be a heck of a lot more loyal when you go back home, that you made them part of what you're doing. It wasn't the boss went to Vegas on a vacation. So,
Amber, for your technicians who came here with you, is there a particular class or topic that you think is resonating with them the most, that they were just kind of like eager to get to?
Well, I think that they're really eager to network and get their hands on tools and ask questions, maybe stuff that, welder questions, or, with they were asking me, for example, about Celette, and I said, well, perfect, they'll have a booth there. Go ask what you need to ask, So I think it'll be good, and it'll save time and energy for them to network and develop those personal relationships outside of leaning on me to do all of that for them, right? They can make that call, stop by iCar. Most of them that are going to be here are platinum, so I'm sure they'll be coming through that booth. I think it gives them another tool in their box, right, that you don't get by staying at the shop. So I think, but one thing I'd also like to say is this is amazing, the South Hall. We're all here now. Collision was separated before. This is amazing. It just goes on for as far as you can see. And I think that that's also maybe that energy we're feeling, because before we were separated out. So I think this is really, if you weren't able to come this year, you definitely need to come next year, because this is amazing.
Well, and one thing I kind of noticed, so last year the attendance wasn't as high maybe as previous years, but the quality of the people coming through, where they're really truly engaged and interested in what was happening and learning and doing all those things. I think that's another part of that energy that we're feeling this year, is it's that same kind of level of engagement where people they're excited to be back, you know, past the pandemic, and you know, there's no restrictions this year at SEMA for spacing requirements and things like that. So that was kind of a nice change again, because you can just go where you want to go and you don't have to worry about anything. And I think that has really, I think the pandemic actually helped people realize we need to be out and with people and making these connections even more so.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the connectivity in this hall is really special. And I agree with you, Amber, because you walk and it feels like the collision section goes on forever. And that's I think it's a rewarding thing. We used to joke with show organizers when we first started this in 2010, one day we're gonna take over a hall. And to see that possible, to see exhibitors being able to expand their presence, to see them to be able to pull in new companies, right, who are entering into the market, I just think is really cool. And so I love that we have the opportunity to have everybody under one roof and really have the industry pulled together. So let's go day by day a little bit on some of the things that are happening and delve into them. Because today there's a really important event going on that's critical for the collision repair industry, and that's the Collision Industry Conference. And I know some of you were there this morning, some of us will be there later this afternoon, but CIC is basically a discussion forum that is specifically designed for members of the industry to get together and talk about the things that are going on. Any particular topics for you all that ring important to you?
Well, I'm super excited for the 405, I think it is, the refinish, the blend panel study results. So I'm on the edge of my seat. I'll definitely be there for that. Yeah, but I mean, I think it does, like you say, you get everybody together, have those conversations, and prep work for Thursday. We were actually on a call, and one thing that being here in this hall, right? It's like we have something special that I don't think like the mechanical side does or whatnot. And we were doing some prep work on that, and I think you see that here. I mean, we actually do work together for, like, we have our training, and you have an association that's strong, and you have the tool companies that participate, and you have just this industry that's like woven together to like offer something really special. And CIC is, I think, another branch of that. It brings the insurers and the legislators and the parts companies, right, all in the same room. So I'm looking forward to going back.
I think this is the one time, and actually I've ever seen, where you have DRPs, MSOs, certified centers, car companies, the people who finance companies that finance the MSOs, all gathered under one roof, trying to learn together what is our future, what direction can we all agree on going on. And thank goodness for ICAR for being the consistency of the training of the industry, and thank goodness for SCRS to be growing and to make sure the CIC events are always a success. So it's very exciting for me. I bumped into legislators, I bumped into insurance executives, I bumped into MSOs, I bumped into every aspect, and we've only been here for a day. So I can't imagine what's going to unravel 35 seminars later with what you're doing. So,
and I think the one downfall of SEMA is there's so much going on, you can't get to all of it. So like with the 36 presentations here, I'm not stepping foot out of this hall all day long. My video guys and they're kind of stuck here with me and putting up with all my stuff to pull this whole thing off. So I really got to make sure I thank them profusely for making the magic happen to actually get the live streaming working, and a lot of work went on in the background to make all this happen. And we want to bring this out so that people that maybe are wondering if they should come to SEMA, they can see some of the things that they are missing out on while they're here, and we could talk about the education and talk about the meetings, and you just get so much out of it. If you come here, you're gonna be so glad you did. I don't think I've ever heard anyone regret coming to SEMA.
No, not at all. And I think there is a lot going on, but there's also a lot of different opportunities to catch some of the same material. So Amber, you mentioned the blend study. For a little background on that, SCRS conducted some research with all the North American coatings companies, evaluating a comparative analysis between blend times and full refinish times, and we're releasing the results of that pretty exhaustive study this afternoon at CIC at 4:05. But we'll also have a panel here on this stage on Friday to also talk about that. So if you can't make it to CIC, you'll have the opportunity to then be at that panel on Friday here at the stage on the show floor as well. So yeah, lots of fun stuff, and I agree. I mean, nobody ever leaves here and goes, I didn't get what I was looking for. I think there's nothing that fills my bucket more than being here at the SEMA show, right? Like it really is just energizing. It makes you excited about being in this industry. It's hard not to be. All right, so let's move on from today. We got 3 more days of the show. Wednesday. Wednesday kicks off with a really special event. It's the Collision Industry Red Carpet Awards Breakfast, where all the industry organizations gather to kind of recognize this greatness that happens in the industry, the people who contribute. This industry is special because of the people within it, right? And I really believe that, and that's part of why networking here is so valuable and important. It's part of why pulling everybody together is valuable. And when we can recognize those great tasks and those individuals who are doing them, it's a great opportunity. Jeff Peavy's actually moderating or emceeing the Red Carpet Awards Breakfast. Always one of my favorite events, for sure. You guys all going to be there? Yeah, perfect. Okay. What else? Talk a little bit about what you guys have going on Wednesday that's unique.
So on Wednesday, we've got, let's see here. I'm trying to think who kicks off on Wednesday, but we have a lot of stuff on ADAS going on because that's a hot button topic. But we also have some presentations on the structural holding and things like that, because that's one of the things that everyone's talking about, EV and ADAS, but you stop and wait. There's a lot of other problems with the structures that we have to be talking about and thinking about. And we got GMC Hummer on the chief rack here in the booth, and that's another great thing. You can come here and see something. When you get a car in and it's smashed, you can come to SEMA and see what it looks like before it gets smashed, cut apart, where you can see the structure and look at things you might not otherwise be able to see. And I think that's another great thing that we have going on here, but there's so many presentations, I can't keep them all straight.
Yeah, totally fair. Anything to add on Wednesday? All right, it's the last day of classes, or classroom classes for us, because on Thursday, we've got our OEM Collision Repair Technology Summit, which Amber, you mentioned earlier. 3 sessions throughout the day, starts at 9 a.m., finishes at 2:30 p.m., and it's got 3 topics. One on accessing and utilizing OEM repair procedures, pretty important topic to all of us, right? We've got a session on tackling the technician crisis together, and we've actually got some amazing research from Carlisle looking at the work they've done with the automakers, specifically on the OEM side, to do a better job of retaining and recruiting technicians, and then that will lead to a panel, and Dara Goroff with iCar is actually going to be a part of that as well. Super excited to have her involvement. And then the last one of the day is going to be a really interesting presentation on research that's been done by Repairify on comparison between what OEM and aftermarket tools look like. It's a big question in the industry, and obviously the OEMs have recommendations around what they're expecting out of their facilities, and I think Repairify did some fascinating research to be able to give some data and statistics around why you may want to ask some questions when making that choice. So we're pretty excited about that on Thursday. Any other additions on Thursday to add to that?
So I know one thing that the industry struggles with is recruiting talent. Yeah. Well, we run into the same problem at iCar to find qualified instructors, so we have some presentations on that, kind of bringing some awareness to the industry that, hey, if you're a level A tech and you really know your stuff, you can contribute to this industry greatly by becoming even a part-time instructor and pass on what you've learned, and you'll learn even more as an instructor going through that. And when you start teaching somebody something, it makes you understand the topic a little bit different when you all of a sudden have to explain it to someone that doesn't understand it. So there's some opportunities there to really expand your own experience in the collision industry.
Absolutely.
No, I think it's as I sit here and I look down the aisle, right in front of me, you would get a lesson on holding a vehicle that you're repairing. You walk forward to my booth and somebody doesn't know what rivet to put in a car, and now the riveting device tells you what rivet to put in. You go to the left of me and I saw the coolest handheld impact gun to get it to a very tight spot with Astro. You go, it's just, anywhere you go in the show, take the time and ask a person a question, because what they have is really interesting. Most of us walk past it. I went today to the booth doing the 3D printing and the 3D scanning. It's unbelievable, because you could see where it's going to evolve to a point where that's going to be mainstream in our industry. So don't just walk past the booth. Everybody has something that's unique, and that's why they're in business and they're here.
And I almost forgot one of my highlights of the show, with all of everything going on, is we do the education committee for SCRS does a cool tools presentation. Well, we basically divide and conquer. We all go out, we walk the show, and we pick out tools, purchase them, take them back to our shops, test them, and then give a presentation on the ones that make the cut. And we don't really share the ones that don't, but trust me, there are ones that don't. And I think it's a good group. It's a good group exercise. I know Dave was out looking this morning. I'm going to do some looking this afternoon. But it's fun to bring that to shops and technicians out there. So it's definitely a highlight for me.
I'll tell you, on Thursday, one of the things I'm really excited about, speaking of booths, is so 45 days ago, 50 days ago, SCRS launched a healthcare program. And this is the first big industry event where we've gotten to share that with people. And it's something that we've been asked for years, and have finally been able to pull it together. And we'll have representatives from our broker partner in the booth with us all week from Decisely. But on Thursday, the CEO of the provider for the healthcare program is going to be in the booth. And I think that marks one of the things that makes this program really unique, is how these individuals care about this industry and want to be a part of it and be involved in it. And if you've ever had a chance to step up and talk to the CEO of your insurance company, I think that's a pretty unique scenario. I heard a statistic the other day that I was pretty excited about. Since we launched that program, we've been able to quote over $650,000 worth of savings for the collision industry. And it's just the tip of the iceberg. And so I'm really excited about that opportunity to share that with everybody who's here as well. So that brings us through Thursday. And then we are on to the last day of the show, where we'll be back here kind of talking about some of our favorite moments as well. But look, I think at the end of the day, if I can offer any advice, it would be meet someone new, shake their hand, go home with more contacts than you came with, right? And certainly you can't help but go home with more insight into what makes this industry tick when you walk these halls, sit in the education classrooms. Scott, any final comments for anybody out there trying to figure out what to do the rest of the week?
Well, I think make sure you have your walking shoes, because by Friday you can see it in everyone's face, like no one wants to walk another step.
By the end of Tuesday.
I'm here already. But it's one of those things that there's a reason that you're going to be that way. And, Friday, it's kind of you're riding the high from the week, and you just kind of get to the end and you're like, wow, we actually did it. And we had a blast. We learned a lot. And that's what the best part about Friday is, when you look back and see all the things that you were able to accomplish in a short period of time.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Stay hydrated because it is a lot out here in the desert. But yeah, I just, look forward to touching base with old friends, meeting new, seeing what my techs come up with. I'm really excited about that and just having some fun in this industry we love.
We all are here to try to make the industry better and do our best to do that. Aaron Schulenberg is in the booth of the Society of Collision Repair Specialists, or SCRS. Scott is here with iCar. Amber will also be over in the SCRS booth. I'm in the RAE booth, and we'll all do anything we can to help you and make your time in Vegas as pleasant, where you really learn something out of SEMA from all our years of doing this. And that's what I look forward to.
All right, so keep walking the halls. Keep coming back here to the stage to see Scott. You'll see Amber in the OEM Summit on Thursday morning. You'll see Dave and Ideas Collide on Friday morning. And we all wish you a tremendous SEMA show and look forward to hearing the stories afterwards. Thank you very much.
Thank you.